Alright, YouTube, it's time for a more humorous video now. It's about the last couple of days. People have come out and said that the ice cream truck song, you hear it every summer over and over again till it drives you insane. You hear every summer these ice cream trucks going by. They invariably play this same tune over and over again on repeat. It's usually tinny sounding and terrible. And people are saying that this is from a song called Nigger Love a Watermelon, Ha Ha Ha. And that this racist sort of ditty is the reason for the ice cream truck music. It's actually not. To put people's fears aside, and I wish these people saying this would fact check a little bit, because I saw it several days ago, posted on the politically incorrect board on 4chan, and I figured that this would eventually then make its way to these easily offended groups on the left, and they would put it on the news, and then exactly what's happening now would happen. I probably should have preemptively made this video, but I was too busy laughing at people. The actual tune is called Turkey in the Straw. It dates to the 1830s, far before these albums that people have put up with this other song existed. These are from largely the early 1900s, the mid 1900s, when things like that were considered a form of entertainment. People dressed up in blackface and so forth. But the original version of this song is an Irish ballad. It literally comes from Ireland and was brought to the United States and became a big song. During the Civil War, people were giving it all sorts of lyrics. The racist lyrics that you hear in these tunes, and I'll put the links in the description to these two versions that I've seen. The racist lyrics are simply lyrics that were added on. The original song is quite literally about a turkey being tied up in the straw while the people of the village are dancing around getting ready to feast. It was a song about, basically, in the most literal sense, eating turkey. Later on, you have various versions that range from the obscene to the racist, although at the time it wouldn't have been considered racist, it would have been considered entertainment. To, the ice cream truck theme, which doesn't have any lyrics. It's simply turkey in the straw, rendered onto a machine and played over and over again until it drives you crazy. The original song, though, is not called Nigger Love a Watermelon. It has nothing to do with black people. It has nothing to do with watermelon. It has to do literally with turkey. Uh, so what you see now are dozens and dozens of people, and there are some media outlets now covering it that are saying, oh, well, this is terrible, it's racist, it's horrific that they would play this song on these ice cream trucks. They're not playing a racist anthem. The racist version is only one of probably, let's face it, hundreds of versions. What you had back then, and you see this with Yankee Doodle, and you see this with other songs of the 17 and 1800s, you have a catchy tune, and people put their own lyrics to it. It's like limericks. If you've ever studied limericks, the same general limerick or design of a limerick will simply have the name of the person and the subject matter changed around, but it's essentially the same limerick. There once was a nun from Nantucket who went to sea in a bucket. And there are about 1,000 versions of that, and it totally depends on your audience. It depends, your audience is children. You're probably not going to tell the dirty version of the joke, where she lifts up her skirt and says "fuck it" in the end, in order to pay her passage, apparently to immigrate to Britain or some other land in Europe. But this version of the song is racist. But the one being used in the ice cream trucks is quite literally simply an instrumental, mechanized version of Turkey in the Straw that existed long before we even had the term racism, which oddly enough was developed by communists. Um, no, the ice cream truck song is not racist. You don't see, these aren't watermelon trucks that are driving by. If they were, then you might put two and two together and say, something's a little fishy here. But they're simply selling ice cream. These trucks are using a catchy tune that's been in use now for almost 200 years. It might go back even further. Because a lot of this sort of musical lore that comes from Ireland in particular, but other parts of Europe as well, was lost when these people came over here. They took the tunes with them. The tunes were forgotten in the native homeland. Nobody cared about them anymore. They were moving on to other types of music, or they were so depressed they weren't playing music at all. In the United States, though, these sub-communities sprung up, the Irish, the Italians, and so forth, and they kept that original musical quality. And a lot of these tunes became hits. You can look at numerous examples. Revolutionary War era music can be given obscene lyrics and become an entirely new song. We see it happen all the time. And of course, most of us are guilty of a song we either is catchy but we don't particularly like, or we may like it and just be goofing around. We'll come on the radio and we'll change the lyrics around and start laughing about it. That's exactly what this song about watermelon did to Turkey in the Straw. It's not the original version. Now, there was a song called Zip Coon that very quickly took off from Turkey in the Straw almost as soon as it was brought to the United States. But the original, everyone I think has heard of Turkey in the Straw. I have. I certainly have. This might not be the case in all parts of the country. Up here, where there are a lot of Irish people, and there are a lot of people who still sort of cling to the old-time farming ways. There are a lot of little villages and farmlands around here that have been in the same family for 300 years. People remember these things. So I'm telling you right now, this song has nothing to do with racism. The ice cream truck song is just an instrumental version of the original, which can have 1,000 different meanings. You can make it obscene, and you can make it about fucking prostitutes or killing people. You can make the lyrics whatever you want. The original is literally about a turkey in the straw, hence the title, Turkey in the Straw. I find this infinitely hilarious, though, because these people that are presuming that the song is racist, you can see it already. They're doing it for a political agenda first and foremost, and to complain about supposed white racism as a result of them, I guess, bringing ice cream trucks around. And they have not fact-checked. They didn't even go to Wikipedia. You can go right to the Wikipedia for Turkey in the Straw, and you'll see that it even has this other song listed there and an external link to stories about it, because they are the same tune. The only difference being the one people are saying is influencing ice cream truck running in their business, it happens to be a later edition from probably the early 1900s. Those specific lyrics are more indicative of sort of the progressive era, or the era of big steel and land barons, the rail barons and the coal barons and the steel barons and so forth. More indicative of that than something you would see in the early 1800s. In the 1830s, the Irish would not have been making such a song. They would have been making a song celebrating their folk traditions, because they were recently divorced from their homeland. Things were bad for them. They weren't particularly indicated, and they were settling in the North where slavery was outlawed anyway. This other version of the song with watermelon is simply a later takeoff of this original song, which I think people unfortunately have not realized. So that's about all. I just thought this was humorous. It's sort of a side topic. It's of no real importance, but it is pretty funny to see people foaming at the mouth over ice cream truck racism, when in fact the song is not racist, and wasn't racist until people made it that way and altered it later on.